Hello everyone. I hope I'm audible. So let me know in the chat. Just type in hi there in the chat. Hello everyone. Okay, cool. Now I'm audible. I got this confirmation. Okay, all right. I hope you all are doing well. Thanks for joining us today. It means a lot to us. For those who are joining me here for the first time, let me give a short introduction about myself first, and then we will, we will move ahead further in the session. So my name is Priyanka Prasad, and I'm one of the organizer at Bucktrons 2.0. And apart from this, I'm a postman student lead currently doing my undergraduation from Rajasthan University. I welcome you again to yet another session of Buckron powered by Prepinsta and streaming partner StreamYard. And this is obviously brought to you by DevStrons in collaboration with LWC. Now, if I talk a bit about DevStrons, so it's an open source community where we have a lot of projects, open source projects where you can contribute to, and you can go through our GitHub organization as well. Now, talking about Bucktrons, it's an initiative by DevStrons, and it began with the mindset of encouraging the community folks and making them aware about edtech industry by putting the emphasis on problem solving, code efficiency, code optimization, and basically logic-based programming and all that. And we empower coders to get influenced by developing software, enhancing skills, and solving bugs. That's why we have kept this debugging round in the round two. And now we are successfully done with our round two, and we selected top 10 participants among the top 20 coders. And congratulations, everyone, for being very active and participating actively in this contest. Not only the participants, our volunteers are, very active as well. So, yeah. Uh, Now we will be moving ahead with the round three, that is our competitive programming. So that will be at 8 p.m. So yeah, get ready and all the best to everyone. Today we are doing a Sunday live review of resume that will help the folks to stand out. So let me introduce today's speaker, not like super awesome guest who is from Salesforce, Miss Anisha Swain. So, hi Anisha, how are you?
Hi Priyanka, I'm good. How about you?
I'm also good. So,
Thank you so
So
much for the
Anisha,
lovely introduction.
thank you. And as you know, as I already mentioned, it's gonna be a resume review, and we are live. So, additionally, what we are going to cover in this session, like, can you give a short brief about that?
Okay, so when first initially started discussing and planning this session, from the very beginning, the thing that was in my mind is resume making is a very subjective process, right? It's very different for different people, different position, different company, and different roles that they're applying for. So I will try to make it as interactive as possible through comments. The people who are in backstage, please come front stage and share your questions, because we're gonna do a live review, and it's very difficult to understand a resume without talking to the person who actually made it, right? So we're gonna make it super fun, super interactive, and yeah,
Cool,
I'm looking forward to talk to you people. I'm not gonna give you like those boring conference talk. That's not gonna happening today. That's totally not the goal. So the idea is to communicate with you. I'm not sort of like expert. Like it's not my job to make a resume and make resume perfect. What I can do is I know a few things about how to make it from my experience, and I will share that experience. And I would like everyone else who is live to share their experience with me as well, so that we can learn together. So that's the whole agenda in my mind.
cool,
Please follow through it. Otherwise, it's gonna be very
cool.
boring, and we don't want that.
Yeah, agree, agree. And that's awesome. So I hope people here will be learning a lot from this resume session, review session. And the stage is all yours. Let's, get started with the things session.
Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you. Let me know when my screen is visible.
Yeah,
So
sure.
the plan is to share a small PPT first, so that we can go through the generic points of resume making, which usually people follow, and then we will switch on to the actual
Review
live
session.
resume session. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I'm sharing my screen. Mhm. Hi. So, people, is my screen visible? I'm not being able to see you all, so you have to,
No,
Priyanka, you have to tell
it's
me.
it's not visible. No, it's
It's
not
not?
visible as of now. Wait.
Okay. Uh,
Uh,
Give me a second.
I think that we need
Uh,
to add it to the stream. I don't know.
just let me check my system preferences once. I think I have allowed Stina. Sorry, people, for the inconvenience.
No issues.
Uh, okay. Okay, it should be visible now. Let me try again.
Mm-mm-mm.
Can you see it now? It's already sharing.
Oh, you can check in there. No, it's not visible.
Uh, I have given all the permission.
Mm.
Mm, so Chrome is allowed for screen recording and sharing. Do you see any settings on StreamYard which needs to be done?
Uh,
I see screen recording is on.
think there is one option share and then slides. Oh, wait. Share screen and I think my screen is visible.
Can you
Yeah.
try? Yeah. I'm having some problem then.
Yeah, just go on to share,
Ensure that
and
process check.
just in the bottom you will be getting share screen
Uh,
there.
yes. So basically, on sharing rights, SteamYard is showing me that Chrome needs some permission. So those
Okay.
permissions are already enabled on my laptop. Uh, do you mind if I drop out and join in again? Maybe I need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
switch
just
off Chrome and
yeah,
jump.
just rejoin with once, yeah. Till then, what we can do is just
Hi Priyanka. So
hello, Amanoj.
are you really excited for the resume review?
I
I
do,
think
even
it
I
will be,
am.
yeah, really like it is gonna be insightful for everyone here who are sitting
Yeah,
backstage,
it
even who
is.
are in the watching us right now. There's some glitch while um, sharing the screen. So I guess Anisha ma'am is back. Yeah,
Yes.
adding adding to the stream.
Hey,
Hello.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I shared the link of PPT. Let's do one thing. People can share the screen, and same
Yes,
while
definitely.
resume, you can share the screen, and I can move ahead. Some problem with Chrome, I guess. Let me know, Priyanka, if you can open up the
Yeah,
link.
for sure. Cool. Now I think it is visible.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, okay. I'm so sorry, people, for the inconvenience. So we can start now. Priyanka already gave a short introduction of me. Let me just rephrase that same thing. I'm Anisha. I'm a member of technical staff at Salesforce, and I had been working with Red Hat before Salesforce for around 2.5 years. And today, the session that we are having is going to be very interactive. We're gonna go through generic resume making process that people usually follow. Now, just to give a heads up, that is the entire topic, entire subject of resume making. There are different types of resumes and all, and we are not gonna get through that since the I believe most of the audience over here are into software domain. So we're gonna make it very specific to people who are planning on applying to software companies with their resume, and maybe a few of core subjects as well. Um, Next screen, Priyanka. Thank you. Just to keep the introduction, we all know what's a resume. What a resume is? It's a formal document that we usually send to our recruiters for displaying our qualifications for the position that we are interested in, and we itemize our qualification according to the position and the role that they are expecting us to join at. Now, next screen, Priyanka. Now there is a thin line between that. Many of us, by default, assume that the purpose of making this particular document resume is to provide all the information about us. We try to make it like our personal journal where we throw everything that we have done, we have achieved in the resume, and we make it like a professional history, like making a personal diary for your personal events. But instead, the goal of making the your resume is to convince uh, Priyanka,
Breathe.
sorry, you can share the whole screen. You can go to slideshow and you can share the whole screen and move between the, yeah. for now. Yeah. Next, next screen. Yeah. So as I was saying, the instead the goal of the whole resume making process is to convince the person who is recruiting you that the information that we have mentioned in our resume is relevant for that position, and we are worth that particular position. So what I mean to say is every resume is different for different person, even if they are applying for similar roles. And it's different for like every single person who is applying to different roles. So every resume should be customized according to the roles that they are applying for, and for the same role different people can actually customize it according to them. I know it sounds complex, but this is what it goes. We When we make a resume, we at a time we try to show what kind of person we are professionally, and we also customize our profile in a such a way that we show them how our professional profile is aligned with the position that they are recruiting for. Next screen, Priyanka. Yes. So, as I said, resume making process is very subjective to every individual. It can be the according to the role. So, ideally, if you are applying for different roles in different domains, for example, if you are applying for a web development position, and then after some time you are applying for a data science position, then it should be customized according to the role. Your resume should be specific to that particular role, not entirely, but yeah, some part you should be highlighted according to that particular position, and it should properly highlight your expertise. Because you might be knowing 10 technologies, but it's practically impossible to be expert in all the 10 technologies in that level that you can say I'm expert in 20 technologies or 30 technologies that I have mentioned in my resume. So you should be very aware of where your expertise lies, and your resume should speak about that. Your resume, when a person is going through your resume, they should instantly see that this person is expert in this field. Because if that's not happening, an interviewer comes blindly sees a resume before like 15 minutes of your interview, which usually happens. They open your resume before 15 minutes of interview, and they see these highlight points that okay, this in this resume it looks like this person is an expert in this programming language, and they keep asking question about that. And the problem is because you haven't particularly highlighted that point that I'm not an expert in this language, I'm instead expert in another language. So make sure you highlight your expertise well. And when I say highlight, I don't mean bold it or italic it. I highlight in the sense there is a pattern how people read resume, right? Like when you go through the projects, when we go through your courses, when you go through your trainings, a particular technology gets highlighted again and again. So our mind in general assumes that the person is good at that thing because they have done so many work on that particular technology. So make sure you highlight your expertise and you are in a very good way, and you are actually expert in that thing. Not if not expert, at least you have like good amount of experience in that thing. And the third thing is whatever you put in your resume, it should be relevant to the position of interest, right? For example, if I am applying for uh, a web development position and my resume is filled with things about image processing or machine learning, so it's not relevant. Even if I'm an expert in that, the resume shows that I'm not interested in it. And that is also another problem with not putting relevant information that we're going to discuss in further. So these three things, always remember, somehow your resume should be customized according to these three things. Next slide, Priyanka. Thank you. So we're gonna take a divide and conquer approach here. First thing that we will look into is the format of the resume, like physical format of the resume, like the layout, font, white space, colors, and all. And then the content, which is obviously most important part of it. Like what are the sections that usually gets included? What are the do's and don'ts? And if we have white space, then how to fill it up? What are the fillers? So yeah, let's go ahead. Next screen, Priyanka. Okay. So, talking about how to frame the resume, there can be different layout, right? Like you can have like full screen, just single layout. You can have double column layout. You can lay it out as you want. The only thing is your layout should, again, the hierarchy of your resume layout should highlight your career path. It should highlight what is your priority in that resume. For example, if somebody writes projects first and then internship, that means the most stronger part in that resume for that person is the projects. So the person will be able to speak about the projects more. So in that layout you have to decide that what comes first and what comes secondary. And ideally, like, this is again personal view, people write it in different ways. I personally like to keep my technology stack, the tech stack, the skill set that I have on top, because I in general I want the person who is reviewing my resume to see my tech stack first, that these are the things she knows and this is how she implemented it. This is how she implemented it in different organization, and these are the side things that she did with those skill sets. So make that layout for you, show your journey with that, from where you started and how it ended and how you are involved in extracurricular things with that. So have that layout, highlight that career path in your format. And then font, your resume should be eye catching, your font should not be eye catching, right? So if you have really confusing font and confusing colors, like with weird color contrast, the attention goes to the font, the attention goes to the color, the attention doesn't go to the content. It might make it look beautiful, but it's not something resourceful. Even if it's like very colorful, very well maintained, the content won't be highlighted. So every time you style your resume, do have I mean, I like to have some colors. I'm a UI developer, so I like make things beautiful, but make sure that at the same time your content is, your colors and your fonts are not overpowering your content. Whatever you are trying to convey with your resume, that is loud and clear in words. So make sure your whole resume is eye catching, but not your font, just not your font and colors. And then obviously try to limit white space, because first attention goes there, right? And that, even if it's a small thing, that why to give a point to the interview creator or interviewer that this is a thing that she or he didn't do, right? And then highlight and colors, do highlight, I mean bold the things that you want attention to. For example, if you're writing like two three things about your about your projects, and you want a specific technology to be highlighted or specific word to be highlighted, so highlight that only. If you The whole point of highlighting your resume is to bring your attention to that particular point, right? If you highlight everything, then the attention doesn't go to that point. So make sure you know how, what to highlight, what you want, what is the point where you want attention of the interviewer. Next slide. Yes, this is a tricky point. A lot of people prefer single page resumes. A lot of people prefer multi-page resume. Again, personal point of view. I have been on the other side of interview, where I've taken interview, and two things. If you have things to write, if you have relevant things to write on your resume which needs more pages, do that. If you do not, then making multi-page resume doesn't make any sense, because at the end of the day, if the interviewer is having 10 minutes, even if you make 100 pages, the person is gonna still put 10 minutes in reviewing the resume. And the problem with that is, if you make 3 pages resume, attention gets divided in 3 pages, and the important part that should have been captured, the attention, that doesn't capture the attention. So I'm just again going ahead and assuming that all of you are starting your career. If someone is experienced and they have a lot of things to write, please go ahead and uh, you know if it is overflowing from one page, make it 2 pages. I do have a 2 page resume because I have things to write. If you do not have things to write, do not fill it up. It's not your college exam where writing 30 pages is gonna give you marks. It's not like that. So try to consume it as in single page. If it is not, you still have relevant things to share, which again, relevant things to share, then only try to make it say, try to go to second page. If not, then try to make it to a single page resume, try to fill it up with relevant information, and that gives a good impression, because nobody has time to go through all of it, because they just, usually this happens, right? You People take interviews on weekdays. There are very few companies who take interviews on weekends. On weekdays we have meetings, we have our own work, and in that rush, hardly somebody gives like 15 to 20 minutes max, I'm saying 15 to 20 minutes to prepare for taking interview. So they are not going to have that much attention span to go through 3 pages resume or 2 pages resume. Make sure it is single page. They should not scroll. And again, relevant information, when you are saying that the person doesn't have time to go through like even a single page, you need to be very cautious about what you highlight and what you write. Next. Now, this is a very important aspect of resume making, the keyword research. So, usually what we assume is when we send resume to a company, like the HR gets the resume and they review it manually, and then they, pass it on if they think it's okay. But that doesn't happen. Usually, that resume, जो छांटना बोलते हैं ना, मतलब if they get 300 resume, they select the resume using parsers and bots, right? Those are not humans. So you need to be, and they do it on top of these terms. For example, if the position is about JavaScript web development, if you use something else, you don't put JavaScript, you put JS, it's not gonna select your resume, right? Because it's already searching with JavaScript. So your resume won't at all pass that screening. Your parser won't be able to pick up your resume. So make sure you use proper keywords, right? If you write, instead of web development you write web engineering, or UI engineering, instead of UI designing you write something totally different, it's not going to pick up your resume. And this happens because I have seen people applying for Java position, and people with JavaScript expertise gets picked up because JavaScript has Java in it, right? So that check doesn't happen manually. So make sure you are very cautious about the keywords that you write. All right, I mean, nobody is gonna search for keywords like problem solving, data structure algorithm. Even though we have that expertise, they are not gonna search like that. So make sure you mention those keywords properly. Now, how to find those keywords, it's totally another topic. You need to know your domain, what domain you are applying for, and you should be knowing that even in the skill set that you are mentioning, right? You should know the difference between the skill sets you are mentioning, because I have seen people mentioning programming languages in tools. Like they make sections, and inside of tools they write programming language, and that's a bummer, because if you put Python inside tools, it's like, do you even know what Python is, right? So make sure you research about those technologies and you know about those technologies before writing it down. Because personally, I believe your skill set section, where you write the technologies, front end, back end, data science, machine learning, whatever, that is the most important part of your resume, because each and every word matters in that, each and every word. So make that particular section, obviously your whole resume should be perfect, but that particular section has highest weightage. Next, we'll talk about each section in future slide. So before that, regarding the content, right? As I said, like, make sure to catch the attention in as small a span as possible. So right now, for example, I got 17 resumes from all of you, and I hardly, like, for 15 seconds I just put my eyes through the resume, right? I didn't give much time to that. I'll be honest with that. So make sure the resume catches that attention in 15 seconds or 20 seconds. The person sees something that, like, he or she is bound to know, read the line that what this thing is, what he or she wrote here. This is interesting, right? So make it. I know it is difficult, but you have to make generic things. For example, if you're making a very generic project. Like people make libraries, people make same web development projects, but make sure you use, like, kind of format those sentences in a way that it sounds interesting, right? Or if you don't do that, make sure you mention something that you did in while doing the project which is interesting, any fact or any analysis that the project had, which will catch the attention, basically. And the second part, which is, again, I'll repeat, know the technologies. Whatever technologies you are writing, you should know about it. I mean, if you go wrong there, that gives a very bad impression. If a person knows five things and they write five things, that's okay. If the person writes 35 things and he or she doesn't know five things, that's a bad thing, right? So know whatever you write in the resume, make sure you know about it. I'm not saying you should be expert at it, but at least you should have, at least know, like, you should have worked on it, or you should have read about it. You should have, like, some kind of knowledge about it, so that if the person reverts back with a question that how are you familiar with these technologies, where you worked on this technology, you should be able to answer. You can't answer like I read a blog about it. That's not how it goes. So know the technologies that you have written, right? So if somebody writes Linux, it doesn't mean that if I'm using Linux, I know Linux. It's a totally different thing. Linux system administration is totally different thing than using just, cd and cat commands. So know about the technologies that you write. Basic knowledge. Now, I'm not sure what I wrote in the third thing. Sorry, I didn't get a speaker note. But I think, like, how sometimes what happens is, more than one person also reviews the resume at the same time. And then, like, I am reviewing resume with my mindset, and another person reviews the resume with another mindset. So, as I said, you have to carefully choose the words so that the audience of your resume, whoever is, you know looking at your resume, they stick with it. They find some keywords which will stick with for them for next 1 hour of your interview span. Previous previous to previous screen, Priyanka. You are going, uh, you have to go back, you are going forward. I think 10th slide, no, ninth slide, ninth. Yeah. Yeah. And then, as I said, make sure you to fill it up with relevant things. Even if you are just trying to fill up your resume, there are white spaces you want to fill it up, still try to make it somehow relevant, like somehow professional. I mean, I have seen resumes where people write their hobbies in resume, like gardening and things like that. I mean, you might find better and relevant things to write down to have that filler, because somebody gardening or watching Netflix as hobby has nothing to do with the position. So try to make it relevant, all right, even if you are putting fillers. Another thing which is a big bummer is, don't put crazy emails. you know Dad's princess, lobster, something, it doesn't work. Your resume should be as professional as it can get. Don't put your usernames with strange anime names. Don't. So, basically, your name should be in your email with numbers, or at least special characters. So what happens is that your email and your name doesn't match, and it creates a confusion that what exactly is going on here. It is somehow, it's not relevant in terms of, like, resume reviewing process, but still it's kind of unprofessional. So try to put normal emails in your resume. If you want, like, strange email names in your personal space, that is okay, but try not to put crazy emails on your resume or in your interview process. Because the name, right, if you're a very good candidate, that name gets stuck in interviewer's mind. If you get selected after that, the person remembers you, right? So you don't want to be remembered as your no crazy username. Okay, so try not to put crazy emails in your resume. And next thing is career objective. I know a lot of people put like a summary of their career objective on top of their resume or somewhere. Personally, I try to avoid that thing because most of the career objectives are copy pasted, because they use fancy keywords, fancy English word which nobody understand. And career objectives again very subjective. My career objective might not be very special for another person who is interviewing me. His career objective might not make sense to me. So I try to avoid putting career objective, and even if you are putting career objective, you think that that would be good enough, try to be very specific about what you are looking for. You don't need to put what you are, how you are, what you are doing, etc., etc. Say clearly that I have these skill set, this is what I'm looking for in my next adventure, in my next opportunity, this is the opportunity that I'm looking for, exactly in exact words, and try not to copy paste, because those fancy words doesn't make any sense. Next thing is resume naming. um it's a very small thing, but most of us share our resume with name of my resume my name, and things like that. Make sure your resume has your full name and the position that you are applying. When you are asking for a referral, we are sending your resume to a recruiter. They get hundreds of resume. If I open up my LinkedIn now, I get 20-30 resumes for recommendation, no, in like 10 days span or 15 days span. Now if I download everything or if I forward those to my email, I won't recognize your email, I won't recognize your resume, right? So whenever you are sending someone resume, obviously go to the resume first. Make sure you have a final check that everything is fine, there is no spelling mistake. Do not put spelling mistake in resume. Again, small things, but it gets stuck in interviewers mind. We are in a stereotypical society where these things get stuck. So try to like reduce your mistakes as much as possible. Try not to have spelling mistakes. When you are sending the resume, put your name and the role that you are applying for in the resume, right? And I have also seen another good practice that people follow in some cases, where they mention, no, in the page naming section, that when they changed their resume last, like when they edited the resume last. That's also a good practice. It will also keep you in check that how latest my resume is. So you can also try doing that. That is also a good thing. And then include links. Whatever projects you are doing, if it is hosted somewhere, if it is the code is somewhere, include the link. If you are mentioning your LinkedIn profile, Twitter profile, whatever profile is there, include links. Include as many links as possible, because nowadays with this at least with this COVID situation, everybody is reviewing it no, digitally, so it's easier if you put links in there. And also, like in some cases, it's a good idea to, like, host your resume somewhere, like, or keep your resume somewhere, for example LinkedIn or no, Google Drive, and share the link, make it shareable. That is also a good idea. We have, I think, a question in there. I'll just quickly take it. Regarding scanner, I heard the resume should not be bisected by two sides, as scanner can scrap the data in an efficient manner. So is it right? Yes. In some cases, yes. In some cases, also, like if you don't put proper format, right? Like if you make it on your own, there are can be problems like that. But I don't think it's a big deal, because I remember like my first resume that I made was two sided, and it didn't really make a difference. Just make sure that you export it as PDF, and if you like print it with if you are making it colorful and you print it out with black and white, the color should not fade away, because that looks desired. Nowadays it's digital, but in offline people also like print out the resume and keep it with them. Some in some companies that also happen. So I would say, if you are using bisected, I mean two column resume, it should not be a problem. But if you can eliminate it, that's good. But I personally haven't like faced any problem with two column resumes. So yeah, but I have heard it does. If you want to be on safe side, you can, but I haven't heard of any problem like that, like faced, practically faced, because I'll show you my resume. My first resume was two column resume. I hope that answers. Next. Next slide, Priyanka. Yes. So I'll quickly go to the sections that ideally I put and I have seen people put on their resume. These are like generic sections that usually you can eliminate from this section, and you can also add on a couple of more section if you have, right? Because sometimes I see people struggle with what they should put on the resume. What are the things that needs to be put on the resume? So first thing, career objective. But as I said, it's totally up to you. Some people prefer it, some people don't prefer it because it is very subjective. Your career perspective might not be very interesting for the other person. So if you want to put career objective, be very precise and concise about it. Make sure you write what exactly you want in your next next opportunity that you are seeking for. Do not write what you are doing, what you want to do in after 10 years. No, what you want right now. Just keep it in a short and concise two sentence, and do not copy paste. And second section is obviously skills. Now there are different ways of how people write that skill section. Some people just comma, they put comma separated list. I do not recommend doing that because maybe you are familiar with different technologies, different technologies in different different domain. So personally, I have followed it in my resume where I separate it as, for example, I'm working on web development. I'd separate it as like tools that I use for front end, or programming languages I use for front end, for back end, for other tools and other things. Right? I separate it in terms of domain. Some people also separate it in terms of the kind of technologies they are. There are different tools. There are different languages. There are different frameworks. There are different libraries. There is also third kind that I personally like. I'm a bit scared of doing, which is dividing in terms of expertise. People put like advanced, intermediate, and beginner. Now I get scared of doing that because then I am putting a label on me that I am an expert in this. I don't know this technology very well. Now the problem with that is, if you are doing it, that's fine. But if you are saying that I'm advanced in this technology, you are putting a label on it, and if you are not being able to answer basic question on that technology, that's a bummer. So ideally, I follow this where I don't mention what kind of advanced or intermediate or beginner skill I have. If the interviewer asks me rate yourself, then only I do it. No, so personally I follow it. But if you are confident enough that you are totally advanced in that technology and you can answer, like if you have put it in advanced section and you are not being able to answer the first question or second question itself in a row, it's a obviously it's a bad impression. Somehow it's a bad impression. So I try to avoid it. Personal experience. So instead of, what I do is I in the list itself, for example, in front end domain I have 5 things. I put my strength first, then I go till the thing that I am like slightly aware of but I'm not very confident about. So I put that in at the end of the list. So that's what I do. And if I think that I'm like very familiar with something, I highlight it. That's what I do. Then education, obviously. So if you so in my first resume, when I didn't have much things to write in my resume, I had my intermediate 12th score and all, also like 10th score and all also as education. But when my experience grew, I removed 10th and 12th from my education. And when you are mentioning education, I went to some resume where they just mentioned that like, I passed from this organization. No, mention your percentage, because that's what it is about. Mention how much you secured in that. So that's what you write in education. And again, where if you are like from a very esteemed organization like NIT, IIT, MIT, Harvard, then obviously you should write it. But if you think that you have other things to write in resume, then you can just keep your latest, your BTech or MTech education, or whatever is your latest degree, and then you can remove your 10th, 12th, and previous diploma degrees from it. That's okay to save space. Then comes obviously experience or internship experience or your work experience. Internship or work, anything else doesn't come under work experience. If you put work experience and you're putting some volunteer thing, that doesn't count as work experience. So if you have no, if you have worked on like enterprise things, that is counted as work experience, right? And then projects, obviously, if you have like volunteer experience where you have actually programmed and coded and things like that, you can put it as volunteer experience as well. You can mention this that as well, but try to put work, no, work as in like if you have worked in an organization where you have worked on enterprise things, then put it under work experience. Then your projects, make sure again to clearly put what the project is about and what is your responsibility in that, what you did exactly in that. And then like when the project happened and what are the technologies that were being used in that project. And then training and
Hmm.
courses, again time and yeah, I saw the question, I'll just finish this and take that up. Um, then training and courses, again it should be relevant to the position. If you make if you're applying for a programming role and you made a like a training course about art and craft, then it doesn't count as relevant. Make sure you put relevant training and courses that you did by Coursera or whatever it is, right? And then your hackathon and community involvement, a lot of people don't mention it, it's still important. It shows your enthusiasm that you are interested, other than just doing your work, you're interested in communities and interested in taking part in events. And yeah, I forgot open source, very very important nowadays. If you mention open source in your resume, if you have worked on open source, it's a huge deal. The world is moving towards open source. Try to have something which is related to open source in your resume, because people value it a lot. So open source, I put open source as a separate section in my resume, so that actually carries a lot of value. And then your achievements, obviously achievements not as in things that are not relevant, like uh, if you are like national level athlete, then do put it, that's okay. But if you want something in your standard 5 or standard 7, standard 10, that try not to put it. If you have better things to put in resume, then put those better achievements. This competitive coding, if you have like good score and you like won in a hackathon, national level hackathon, put those in achievements. And then again, very important thing, resume, that piece of paper is not your only piece of resume. Your digital footprints are also your resume. The blogs that you write, the Twitter account where you share your thoughts, the LinkedIn account where you follow people and where you share your thoughts are also a part of your resume. So make sure you put your digital footprints as well. And contact information, again, no crazy emails. And yeah, make sure to give two phone numbers as well. So for with me, this usually happens that one of my numbers is if not reachable, then another one should be reachable during the interview. If my internet doesn't work or something, they should be able to reach me. So make sure you give alternatives to them, right? Email is okay, one email is okay, but if you have two numbers, it's good actually, because if one is not reachable, they'll call you in another. So yeah, that's about it. We have another question. Shall we consider fellowship? Can you, Priyanka, can you highlight it here? Shall we consider fellowship under work experience? I believe you are talking about research fellowship, right? Anshuman, can you just drop a ping asking? Uh, so I'm considering this as a research fellowship. You can put a separate section for it, saying research work or something, because uh, I had some research. I was doing some research work when I was in college, and I had some publications. So I put a separate section. Again, I said these are the generic section that people put. If you have something better, you did something really amazing. You did an internship at NASA. You did something amazing. Then make a different section for it. Show that, because that is your strong point, right? We talked about layout. Whatever is priority to you, whatever you think is important to you, you have to know. put it according to that. If you think that your research work, research fellowship work is amazing and it's gonna add value to your profile, put it on the top instead. No, put it on top of all these fields. If you think that that's something that's gonna define your profile, then why not, right? If you have something very relevant and amazing to write about, that will make the interviewer wonder about, like, wow, wow, this is interesting, then do it, then make it another section. uh, Another question is there: is it fine to, yes, open source is open. Is it fine to add summary about ourselves in resume? As I said, career objective, right? The summary. I personally avoid writing it because my resume is the summary about me, and it's very difficult to summarize my whole thing. And honestly, personally, I don't read it when I see your resume, so I'm not sure how other people respond to it. But if you are writing summary, like, you can write summary, but do not copy paste. Make sure it's very customized to you. It speaks about, not about you. I'm not sure if I wrote it ever, so I would have shown you example, but I don't think I did. I wrote cover letters, but I never wrote summary. But if you are writing it, you can just summarize like this: I have experience in this field, and I'm looking out for this kind of environment. I'm looking out for this kind of opportunity. For example, you can write like, I'm looking for challenging environment where my skills are put to good use, or I want to be in a situation where my skill set are impacting people's life in a good way, or something like that. Do not copy paste and try, like, uh, flabbergaster kind of words you don't have to use. It doesn't make any sense. If you're writing a summary, make it personalized. That's what I feel. But honestly, most of the people use it as fillers. If you have better things to write in resume, try avoiding it. Personally, I feel that if you are using it as a filler, then go ahead, do it. It's okay. It's all right, because whatever you are writing, it's anyway written below your summary, right? Whatever you are writing in your summary, and the person is going to go through your resume, not just read two lines about you. Next, why this presentation got longer? I don't understand. It was just 10 slides.
Yep.
Okay, so
Yes.
fillers. So yeah, people put these things as fillers. I have put language as fillers once in my resume. You can put languages like, what are the, if you know French, German, whatever, you can put it as fillers. Some people find it fascinating, and it is relevant also, because maybe a company has clients who are Japanese. So if you know Japanese, then it's good. So you can put it. It's still somehow relevant. And then extracurricular activities, if you are like, for example, if you like teaching programming to kids in a non-profit organization, or you are doing some volunteer work, or so you can put those as extracurricular activities. If you are speaking in a conference, or if you are invited somewhere to have a panelist, or you are doing some volunteer thing, you are involved in a community, you attended a community event like this, you can put it as extracurricular activities. And hobbies, I usually don't prefer to put hobbies, because when we say hobbies, it becomes very informal. Like, for example, gardening, painting, drawing. If that is not relevant to the job profile that I'm applying for, I would say avoid doing that. If you have like hobbies which are relevant to the job profile, then go ahead and do that as a filler. But make sure, no, that part is not highlighted. Make sure you put it at the end of it, like, somewhere where the attention won't go, really. Like, people usually read the resume and any document in a F format. Like, this is a user experience concept that we have. We read the first line, second line, third line, and then we read vertically, not horizontally anymore. So make sure that you are putting these fillers in some way, that there are no white space in your resume, and also not a lot of attention goes to that. So you have to figure out how to put it to fill your resume. uh Priyanka, are you there? Next screen. uh there is a question I would like to take it before that. Priyanka, if you can highlight it. You mentioned that we should write something attracting in our project to show it unique. What if interviewer find our project basic and we're just writing fancy tests to make our project different? Okay. Right. So, see, the thing is that at least if you are writing something which is, again, like I made a static website with images, or I made a HTML form, right? The interviewer is not gonna ask about it either. Again, two things, right? First of all, you should make projects which are actually like good enough to put in your resume. That is the goal, first goal, right? You can't make generic projects and you can just make it fancy. I'm not saying that. Even if you are, there is a project which is a basic web development project, and you want to, like, you just don't want to write it in a way where the interviewer's attention won't at all go to that place, right? For example, suppose you made something like a payment app, right? Payments app are already made, right? But because you made that project, there must be something unique in it, right? You must have some idea behind making that project. So you have to put it in proper words that the interviewer's attention goes there. Because if you will just write that this is a payment app, I made it using React.js, I made it using this technologies, interviewer is not gonna ask about it either. Like, the attention won't at all go there. So so my point was not think that make something simple and make it attractive. If you are making something attractive, make it sound more attractive so that the attention goes there. You can't make it sound monotonous. Obviously, if you are writing something, you can't write in a project that I printed out hello world. That's not a project, that's not a project. So even if you are like making generic project, then also, like, you need to make sure that the interviewer's attention goes there so that they can ask you a couple of questions about it. If you put everything generic, their attention won't at all go there. That's as simple as that, right? I don't want to know like how you put images in a web page. I know it is like 6 lines of code. So if you made something good, make sure your words are good enough or better enough to, describe it. But obviously, the goal is to make good projects. It doesn't mean that you will make monotonous project and make it sound good. And yeah, I forgot to tell you, a lot of resume we like link it to our GitHub where the code is there. If possible, host the project somewhere and put the live link as well, because it's a little impractical for the person to go through the code and understand how you wrote. We usually like find it like, if think like an interviewer. You will, if your project is interesting, first thing that you would like to do is like, play around with the project, right? So make sure that if possible, host it somewhere so that the person can go ahead and play around and then ask you question like how you did it, what technologies you used, because that keeps an impact on your brain if you have already used it. Okay, I hope that clears it up. If not, Kajal, please let me know in the comment. Then there are a few platforms that I usually use. So there will be a lot of generic online platforms where you can put your resume. They have all the sections that we discussed about. They will have the sections, and you can just fill out the form. But the problem with those things that I don't like is they don't allow customized sections. Not many of that allow customized section. So the first resume that I made was using Google Doc. I made the whole resume using Google Doc, my own customization and everything. Now, sorry, Anshuman, you wanna ask something? You were supporting that, okay?
Yeah, even I did. Yeah.
Okay. So next thing that I absolutely in love with is this website called overleaf.com. It's a latex based resume maker site. You will get all the formats and it looks so classic and so simple, and they have a very nice layouts. I'll Can you open that up, Anshuman, if you are connected to it? So this is latex is a is used to write a research paper. So you see how simple and crisp those research papers look. They use latex to write research paper, and this site uses latex to have, not Google Doc, Overleaf. Uh, They use latex to create these resume format, and you have to write some code, but not really code. Once you see those formats, right, you will understand what to do. Can you go to templates? Yeah. So you see there are different templates. There is a one for resume and CV. So these templates are, there are some fancy templates, and there are some really amazing simple templates as well, which are like which will won't take much of your, so this thing. Modern date one is really nice one as well. I think some people used it as well. So this is a really nice website to make your resume. You just have to remove the text and replace the text. Yeah, once you start looking at the code, you will understand what to do. It's like just replacing HTML text. Then another thing is obviously Canva, but Canva is much more fancy. It's like that they have good templates, but again, you have to make it simple. Canva is like very designing oriented platform, but you can use it as well to make your resume. So I prefer these three platforms to make resume, and mostly Overlift, which I'm a amazing site. I'm a total fan of it. Yes, there will be some resume templates in there as well, which are like fancy resume templates. You can use these as well. But yeah, I would recommend definitely try Overleaf once. Okay, let's go to the next slide. You can play around with this later. I'll share the slides with you. Uh, I think that's it. Yes, this is very important slide. At the end of the day, what skills you have matters more the most. No matter what you write in your resume, no matter what you try to display, what you say in the interview, what skills you have, how you portray it matters much more than making the resume. Can help you till the point where your resume gets selected. After that, it's you and your skills and expertise. So know your resume, whatever skills you have, put it in your resume, but also make sure you really know what you are writing on your resume, because that's what is going to land you a job. That's what is going to make a difference. Make sure you know each and every word that you put in your resume, right? If you close your eyes, your resume should be there, right there, each one after one, each section. So yeah, that's it. Guys, I hope we covered pretty much. If you think that some points were contradictory, do let me know on my Twitter or LinkedIn. I don't have crazy names. It's Anisha Swain everywhere. You search Anisha Swain, you will get all my profiles. So yeah, thank you and good luck. Anshuman, for resume review, right? We have half an hour, so we can go 2 or 3 resumes. If you can share your screen, we can talk about it. And if the person is there, we can talk to them.
Yeah, folks, get connected with Anisha. She is really insightful, as you can already see in this resume session. And yeah, I'm just closing my screen this, and we're looking forward to more resumes. So let's. So which one you want to make it up?
Just open up all 17 of them. We'll just go through that like in 17-20 minutes.
Okay.
Let's try to finish it up,
Okay.
because I don't want, I mean, these people have really amazing things they have written in their resume. I really didn't want to miss anything. So, yeah, let's see how much we
Let's
can
start.
cover. Just start.
Okay. So let's start with Ankit because he's here
Okay.
and listening to us. So wait, I'm sharing my
Hi,
screen again.
Ankit. Can you bring him on stage if it is possible? Also.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, Ankit.
Hello, Anisha and Anshuman.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you.
Hi. Hello.
hi.
Yeah, this is the first resume that I saw, and I must say this is really impressive. I did go through it, so good job, Ankit.
It's
I
not
have a.
my
It's not yours. Oh, sorry,
Akshat
Oh,
it's
wait.
actually.
Akshat.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait.
I remember this.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah, this. Okay,
This one,
cool.
sir.
Ankit.
Okay, one request before starting. So I listened to her and I actually
I was
forgot to check
anyway
it
not gonna
once.
start. I
Before
was
sharing,
not
I
any.
forgot to checking. Can you just click on the link section on the right side? resume,
Link section
right
only.
section. Yeah,
This one.
resume. Yes.
Okay.
So I have just edited the dates. Yeah, that's all. Okay, now you can
Okay.
go ahead.
No, I'm not gonna review it. I would like you to tell me from whatever we discussed that what
Okay.
could have been different.
So like this, I made for an internship regarding cybersecurity job, and uh, it's just my first time making a resume. So I just gave my own perspective of my profile. How do I want to be known as, and my education background, what courses I have been through. That's it. Apart from that, the fillers I thought was required was were my hobbies, languages. So I didn't know much.
Yeah, so I'm asking you the same thing. What do you think could have been different?
Okay,
Do you
so
think this could have been different? That's what I'm asking. Really quick.
I'm not sure how to like make it more relevant. So after
Okay.
watching your session, a little bit of idea that languages which I speak is not required. So only English and Hindi is enough for that. Apart from that,
Okay.
I can't.
Okay. Pointer guys, talking doesn't help. So practical. Okay. So first thing, you are from Raulkela, so high five. So about profile, right? You are applying for a cybersecurity job. I don't know why you mentioned cybersecurity below your name. Okay, you need to
Okay.
maybe put cybersecurity, no, the profile name basically. Usually that happens. And since you see the white space around your name, you could put the details. It's not details; it's actually contact information, the section name. You could put it beside it to have that fill up. All
Okay.
right. And the profile, right? You are passionate and experienced competitive coder. That goes inside one of, do you have like hacker and hacker
Yes.
thing code? So that actually is an achievement. That those stars that you have, right, the rank that you have, that's an
Yes.
achievement. You could put it an achievement. I'm telling you, your resume has a lot of information. You haven't divided it into sections. That's the
Okay.
problem, right? So again, second thing, solve puzzles and taking part in coding contest. You must be having information about the coding contests, right? That those
Yes.
are extracurricular activities. You could put it in extracurricular activities by giving the name of the contest and how you did it. Top. Okay, he mentioned it there.
Yes.
So you see, this is what happened when I started. This is what is my thinking process. I have not gone through a resume. This is what I'm thinking. This could go into extracurricular activities, right? Highly dedicated towards learning about tech world. That I don't know if you don't mention your skill set. That I will know from your, if you mention 20 skill set that you're interested in, then I will know that you are highly interested in tech world, right?
Okay.
Hard worker and can adapt to situations. See, these are very subjective things again. You won't be able to prove these things through your resume. Do you have valid data to prove it? I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are, but I don't know you, right? As an interviewer, as a recruiter, from a recruiter's perspective, right? So you see, these things, whatever you mentioned in your profile, those are not relevant to your cybersecurity role that you are applying for.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
pretty
Yeah.
sure you have experience in cybersecurity thing because you have done a lot of courses. I'm pretty sure you have done projects, so you could write those down.
All
You
right.
understand what you're saying? Can you just go up or below? So there are links, right? There are skills that you put in the side, which is again color contrast. So my attention doesn't go there. I can't differentiate between the links and skills. Again, the skill set that you have is much more important than the links, right? How I will read it, I'll read the first section, I'll read the last section, and then some section from sidebar. You see, so when I see your resume, first attention goes to extracurricular activities because that section is huge. So I will see, like, I don't understand what you have written, right? I don't know what these things are. INCTF,
Okay.
ICPSC, I don't know what those are, right? Because that's my problem. I get it, but maybe people don't know that. You have to explain it, right?
All
And is
right.
it relevant to the job profile? So whatever is relevant to your job profile, you have put it in such place that doesn't attention doesn't go there, like skills, right? See, I'm not sure again CTFs and CP what that is. So you need to make sure when you are using. So if I say NIT, everyone knows what is NIT, right? When I say GSOC, everyone knows what GSOC is. But when you say CTF, it doesn't click in my mind what CTF is. You understand that because maybe
Yes.
these are things that you are very familiar with, but other people are not familiar with. Getting my point, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
So
even HR will be going to be do this in just one view, and
yes.
he will either place you or either, you know. So this is the thing.
And
Yeah,
as I said, keywords, right? The keywords in your resume I can see is CS50, chess, and things that are actually not related to cybersecurity.
Cyber
There is only
security.
one
Yes.
place where you have mentioned cybersecurity, which is your heading. See what's the keyword in your resume, right? So you need to
Work it
make it
out. Yes.
accordingly, right? So yeah, if you have further question, we can connect offline. Let's move on to next one, and
Okay. Thank you.
no hard feelings. So just I just want to make it clear, like this is a discussion. If you think that whatever you are discussing is contradicting to how you made your resume, thinking what, please feel free to share. If you don't share, I won't understand. So, okay. uh, can you go to top? Hi Kajal, is she there?
Hello, ma'am.
Hi
Am I
Kajal.
audible?
Yes, you are. Hi.
Okay.
Okay, this looks good. Again, the first thing that my attention goes to white space. Okay,
Yeah.
so make sure that you somehow fill that up, because you have a lot of things to write in your resume. So space is not a problem for you. Like you don't need fillers as much as I can see from your resume. I see you wrote a summary. I'm undergraduate for opportunities. Okay, the summary looks good. To be honest, this is fine. Again, one thing, quick thing that I want to. Can you just uh, zoom out, Anshuman? Zoom out. I want to, yeah. So, Kajal, I can see that, apart from your education part, you have a lot of things going on in your resume, right? You have work experience, you have projects, you have achievements. So, I feel your education can actually go to, a place where it's not very highlighted, right? So, you put your education at the beginning, but I don't see a percentage or anything about that. So, I'm not sure why you put your education at the beginning, because you have a lot of other things going on which are amazing, just looking at the first thing. Again, you can remove these this visualization from it, because that's not
Yeah,
really
yeah. It was
uh,
like it was already drew in
the
this
theme, right?
template.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is that people usually use those visualization and fillers because they don't have things to write on resume. If you already have things to write on resume, you can remove it, because we don't want the attention to go there. You want the attention to go somewhere where they read that these are the achievement of this person, these are the tasks she did, right? So make sure you remove all the extra attention, and
Yeah,
the
sure.
attention should be on your content, because you have amazing contents. Okay. And again, the skills, right? You personally, I feel like I should divide skills into different categories so that my domain is specific. You wrote programmer, Android developer, open source enthusiast, but apart from Java and things that are Android dev, you have other things going on as well. When you write open source, you should put an section as open source, like where you contributed to open source, what were the repositories and what were the technologies. I can see that you wrote on open source contribution at the GWOC. Uh, you can put it as a separate section as well, and in the skills as well. Instead of open source is not a skill, right? Open source,
Yeah, yeah.
is a part where you contribute to. So you can mention proper technologies, and you can divide it according to domain or expertise, or however you feel like is appropriate for your profile. And I believe you have added in personal projects, you have added the links, which is good, but technologies are again not mentioned. So when I see your resume, uh, from the top only I can see you are an Android developer, but in the until and unless I go through all the paragraphs that you have written, I can't say that what exactly is your expertise. Okay. So if you write these, what are the technologies you used for personal projects and what are the technologies you used in your internships, it will be easier for me to search those keywords. Like if I see at five places Android written, I understand that she is an Android person. Okay. And I think your achievements also look good just through a quick scan. And I believe if you write all this information, you won't need fillers like other skills and interests. That is the best part, because you haven't mentioned your potential over there properly. You have much more potential, and you don't need fillers in your resume, as I can see. Do you think the same?
Uh,
Do you think
Aman,
that if
can
you add.
can you repeat?
So I'm saying, do you think if you add the technologies that you use, that you are good at, if you add different domains in your skills, if you make those sections, if you like
Yeah.
properly put the technologies, do you think you will need the filler other skills and interests?
No, I don't think, because I just changed the technical skill part.
Okay.
I wanted to show my leadership skills, so I
Yes,
just wrote
that you
that.
show with your not organization. I feel those are volunteer activities. Core team member and mentee at Cafe. That already shows it. So as I said right in the previous resume, you can't say that I'm a team player just writing that I'm a
Yeah.
team player. Your
Yes.
whatever you have previously done, that should show it. Like if you led a team, actually, if you write that I was a coordinator in this event, I was a team lead at this event, I led a team, that already shows your leadership. You don't need to write that I'm good at team playing or I'm good at leadership. If you are saying that this was a team project and these were my responsibilities, it already proves that you are a team player, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Right.
make sure to minimalize things that you can't prove by your work. If you are already proving it by your work, why do you have to mention it as other skill? It's already proven from your work.
Yes. Right.
Even sometimes we have the right choice of template as well. So sometimes template says designed in a way that proves you wrong. So yeah,
That's why
Yeah.
that's
I
why
I will
asked, make
change
sure
that.
if yes, more info, less fillers. Yes, fillers are fillers. They are called fillers for a reason. If you have infos, why to put fillers? Next,
Right.
next, next. We have time, right? Yes. Good. I hope, like, if we can't go through all the resumes, I hope still you people understand quite a few things from this discussion. Okay. Gaurav is there. Right. Excuse me, people. One quick thing: the links are not linked. Are the links linked? Can you check, Anshuman? No, right? There. No, the links, not linked.
yes,
I mean, it is linked.
okay, yeah, it's linked.
Hmm.
Okay, this link. Okay, yeah,
These are linked. These are linked. Okay. Okay. This
yeah.
is okay. Is Gaurav here? Like, I just want to understand what profile he is aiming for, because I see the resume is totally about competitive programming. So I just want to understand what domain he is interested in, because I don't see domain
Okay,
specific
okay.
thing
No
much.
worries. Anisha, we do have other resume as well. Akshat is
Okay.
right now present here, so yeah.
Okay. So we can go through if we can go through other resumes as well later offline. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, cool.
This one is the most difficult one to review because I didn't find much. So take inspiration from this. this is the resume I actually liked, because I see the first thing is, he wrote down education, which is actually like a, the GPA is good, the the organization is good, and properly mentioned when he passed out of that, when he's gonna pass out from that organization. And just it didn't take much space, just simple and concise, right? And the contact information goes really well on top, just the things that matters, you like, from where he is, the email address, the number, and the GitHub, that's enough. And this is what I was talking about when I talked about skills. I prefer this way. I divide these according to domain. If I know about frameworks and libraries and tools, I put it different. If I know programming languages, I put in a different way. One thing about projects and open source is, I usually like to keep both separate, like personal projects and open source, and work experience where I put enterprise work separate. But again, because if I see here, it's difficult to recognize which is the open source project, which is my personal project. Okay, and another thing is, you have your GitHub URLs and links. It would be great if you can add like the hosted links as well, because I can just click and see what is there, right? Because women in technology, I'm interested. Instead of going through the code, I would like to see what you did in it, right? I'm curious now. Okay, so if I don't see a link there in the interview, I'm gonna ask, like, do you have a live demo for me? And I'm going to be a little bit disappointed that I couldn't see it, because it looks nice, it's good, right? So you lose like the plus 5 points that you could have like received from me, you received two, right? So if you have links, do add there, because these look good, these projects look good. uh Below, Oh, volunteer work, contest. I think these all look good, and I really like that this all these things are like mentioned in a single page resume. It's a lot of information is going on here, but it's not extensive. It says what he does really, in a summarized way. He doesn't need to put a summary about himself that he does open source, he does competitive coding. You see how no in a simplistic way he put that, like 4 star on Codeshell. That says that he is a competitive programmer. He doesn't have to write and take skill set that I'm a competitive programmer. Look at my resume, I'm a competitive programmer. So these are the subtle hints that the person knows what he is talking about. The person knows what she is capable of, right? So good job, Akshat. This is really good. This is
Thank you very
actually
much.
good.
Thank you. Thanks for
Any
sharing your insights. Thank you for sharing your insights and feedback regarding the that resume. Yeah, we'll sure put out those hosted links in the resume. Okay.
good luck.
Thank you very much.
Um,
Talking about the Gaurav resume, as far as I remember, he's targeting product-based companies like Amazon. So he's not that much into development. Yeah.
okay, okay, makes sense. Right. So I'm just in mind. I'm just thinking about fillers that can write down. Um, so basically, what happens is, in the interview process is, the first you they go through the competitive coding part of it, and then they match teams. Right, so from his profile I believe that he is really good at competitive programming. The only I mean, if he is generically targeting those companies only, so the resume might get picked up from his work, not from keywords, but from other platforms where they see that the person is doing great in CodeShip and these things, they might pick it up. But if it is a specific role or something, I'm not sure how the what are the keywords about the resume will be. And also, like, uh, maybe like adjusting the line heights some way is gonna look it more fulfilling, because I see he has done projects. The projects are there. There are different courses that also he did. You can also add the course links over there or certificate links over there. And the skills section can go on top where you can write down in a proper way. Like maybe because I see that he did competitive coding a lot, I'm pretty much sure that from the C++ and C, he can actually say that I'm advanced in these languages and I'm familiar with these languages. But he has written languages, familiar, technology. Now three different domains are clashed in it. Like these are languages where he is dividing in terms of domain, and then familiar again he is dividing on basis of the expertise, and then technology which is generic. So maybe like putting it like different domains will make the resume look fulfilling. Apart from that, the achievements are speaking about him a lot, so kudos to that. But yeah, the resume, only thing that I can see is the resume looks incomplete, which can be actually optimized to look filling. So yeah, that's all I can talk about it without talking to him.
Yeah,
uh,
that's amazing. Like we all got the clear understanding about how to make a resume and what should be included in our resume, what should not be included, what should be the format, and how, the coloring, the designing, and all that. So, like, we all got the insights about how to build a resume, and finally the resume review part, that was super amazing. Like, what all the things that we did wrong and what should be the better one. So, yeah, thank you for this amazing
Priyanka,
your
there is
review.
a yeah. Before we wrap it up,
Okay.
I see we have 3 minutes, so see people are still asking questions. So if you can
Yeah,
ask
sure,
your
sure.
question in 2 minutes, that would be great. Should we mention the
Okay.
courses without a certification? Yeah, you can. You can. Like if you know that topic, you have done a course, you can mention without certificate. Nobody's gonna open up their certificate and see until and unless it's like no RHCSA or Salesforce certified thing. Uh, it's okay if it's a Coursera course, EDX course. You can put the course. That's okay. That's fine.
I think that answers your question, Sohani.
Anything else? Anything else before we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Uh, I'm okay to pick it up offline as well. So I know there are a lot of people who sent resume and we couldn't review it today. So please feel free to connect with me offline. That's totally fine. And yeah, thank you so much for letting me speak. So yeah,
Thank
thank you.
you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And we will see you all in our closing ceremony. All right. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye, guys.